The war of words heatens up between the Pinnacle and Inner Circle. Blood and Guts next week, but we got one more episode of Dynamite, which we're going to talk about today. So stay tuned. This is the Elite Maniac podcast. What's up, people? Welcome to the Elite Maniac podcast, where we discuss all things AEW. My name is Mex, aka WrestleManiac UK. I'm alongside my host, Mike, aka Kings Road Wrestling. We've got a really fun episode of AEW Dynamite to review today. Mike's a bit upset because he didn't get to watch it live, but I'm sure he's going to tell you about that in just a second. But before we get into the main body of the podcast, remember to smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and all that good stuff. And for our audio listeners, please make sure you subscribe and follow along on your podcast platform of choice. Let the people know the good job we are doing right here at Elite Maniac Podcast by giving us a 5-star review. Mike, have you recovered from watching AEW not live like the rest of us here in the UK?
I'm getting there, but yeah, this week's pretty terrible. I'll be honest. I have final exams, so I'm trying to balance everything. And it's such a ritual for me on Wednesday nights. The last, 2 years, every Wednesday night, it's 7:30. I go upstairs, get my drinks ready, get all comfortable on the chair, get set up, and I watch Dynamite. And then when that gets interrupted, it throws my whole circadian rhythm out of whack. I'm irritable. And I got to watch it live, man. But I did get it done. And I'm ready to talk about it today, get a little break from exam studying and go over a great card. But you know what I was also thinking?
What?
It's a little weird, dude. We've been doing this for a couple months. We've been talking for a year. I consider you a good friend of mine. We've never met. A lot of maybe people don't know that, but we are on opposite sides of the world. And I don't know if everyone knows that out there. It's a little odd.
Yeah. So obviously we record this remotely, but I'm probably coming to the States sooner than you come to the UK. I don't know, obviously, your own personal plans, but I for sure, I think I'm going to be in the States, for the next 3 Manias at least.
Okay, so I have a plan to go to Japan. I don't have a London or England plan yet, but yeah, I'll come eventually, and I hope I can crash with you.
Listen. There's always space. There's always space, especially for a wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. But man, it was a really good week. It looks like they're kind of stacking the card for Blood and Guts, which
man,
I'm pretty sure they announced last week was going to be a 1-match card.
I guess we were so stupid that we didn't realize, or they didn't explain it properly. But one Blood and Guts match.
Yeah,
I thought it was a one show, 2-hour. Iron Man
match. Yeah, exactly. But that's how they made it sound, to be fair. But we've got a couple of other bangers on the undercard, if you like, before we get to the main event, which will be the Blood and Guts match. But like we say, before we jump the whole thing, we've got a whole episode from today or last night to discuss. So
yes, we do.
Do you want to take it away with how the show started?
Show started with I guess kind of the bona fide opener now. Hangman Page, they really trust to open the show, seems, for the last few weeks, and it's understandable. He's a number 1 ranked wrestler in AEW. Well, he was yesterday. Taz stated that he's the number 1 wrestler in the world, so I think Taz thinks he's better than Omega. There's an argument for that, definitely, with people in the internet wrestling community that Hangman may be better than Omega. We just don't know yet. But he faced Brian Cage, who was also in the rankings. I believe he was maybe ranked 3rd or 4th in the rankings. So this match was really to find out if Hangman was going to stay in his number 1 spot or not. And it was significant because if Hangman won, then he was really in line to take that Double or Nothing spot and fight Omega for the championship belt. That did not happen, as you all know. And we both predicted last week that Brian Cage was going to win. We stated that he needed to win, or this was pretty much the death of Team Taz. Mm-hmm. fortunately for us, because I know we're both rooting for Team Taz deep down, we want them to be more than a job team.
Yeah.
Brian Cage did pull off the victory, and he did it in a crazy fashion, man. He did not stop getting on Hangman from the early on. He attacked him during his entrance and dominated him for 95% of the match.
Yeah, I think it was a very smart way to do this, keeping Adam Page strong by getting him attacked before the bell by the Team Taz guys. But really and truly, when you look at Brian Cage and Adam Page next to each other, there should be only one outcome, and it's Brian Cage annihilating Adam Page. And I'm kind of happy it happened. You know, I was watching the match thinking, if Adam Page wins here, like, come on, like he should have asked for a title shot yesterday if that's the case. But they done the right thing. You know, Adam Page is always kind of fighting up a hill sort of thing to overcome Brian Cage. Made Brian Cage look strong. Adam Page, every time he kind of got a bit of momentum, he got knocked back. And I'm very, very happy to see that Brian Cage got the win.
So am I, and I completely agree with that, with the looking at him and just seeing how big and strong this guy is, but also agile. And I think that I don't criticize AEW much, really. I tend to really like their product. That's why I'm a big fan of it. But I don't like how they handled Brian Cage in the early onsets of when he debuted. I think it was a miss from AEW. I know you think that too. It was one of the mistakes that they made because they got this guy who came in and really they didn't showcase him enough. And it's exactly what they're looking for when you think about it. They kind of thrusted him into the main event picture, made him lose. And they really should have pushed him instead because he's big, he's strong. But not only that, he's agile and he does crazy cruiserweight moves for a guy who's almost 300 pounds. So, man, he could be champion with the right booking, no doubt about it. So I'm really hoping that they do something better for him. And I think this is the right step. So as of now, I think he's knocked Hangman off. He posted a picture yesterday with Kenny saying, would this be something that you guys want to see? So maybe at Double or Nothing, we'll get Omega versus Cage. I know that Cage wouldn't win, but I don't know. It's better than what he's been doing with Team Taz. What do you think?
Personally, if we're talking like Double or Nothing and the next contenders for the AEW World Championship, I don't think it should be anybody that, well, it's hard to say, man. Like, we'll talk about something that probably should have happened next later on, but I don't, until they're ready for Adam Page to face Omega and win, you know, then anyone else is just going to be fed to Omega in that sense. And maybe they should have, you know, Impact now that Omega's the Impact champion. Rich Swann should come over and challenge, you know, I want to take everything, put everything on the line and let me, you know, that maybe that should be the Double or Nothing match.
Or Moose.
Like, this chump lost our belt. I've come back to win it and I'm going to take your AEW
or
belt.
Sami Callihan. There's people over there.
It has to be someone in the in-between time than Adam Page.
It's too early. We've been saying this, and people, I guess, just aren't understanding. They're like, it's Adam Page's turn. It's not Adam Page's turn because he's not going to lose. We would like to formally congratulate Kenny Omega here at the Elite Maniac podcast for defeating Rich Swann last week and winning the Unified Impact World Championship in a pretty good match. Maybe we'll talk about it in a little bit, but Kenny has taken the Impact belts. Kenny is working an Impact schedule. He's going to their shows. He's going to be on this Wednesday. He's going to be on their TV special, kind of akin to Fyter Fest, Under Siege. That's in May. He's going to be at the pay-per-views. Kenny is an Impact Wrestling star. They don't have anybody right now for him in AEW. That's a credible threat. That's not Hangman Adam Page. So I agree with you. Why not bring Swann or Moose over and have them fight him? I think that would be a great main event. And you know what? That would draw because the Rebellion numbers just came out from yesterday. And fourth best pay-per-view they said a major pay-per-view provider. So I'm assuming it was cable or fight. Yeah. Fourth best since August. So in the last year, it's in the top 5 pay-per-views. It's impressive.
Yeah, definitely impressive, and I guess that's the kind of exposure they were looking for when he put this deal together. But yeah, to go back to Cage and Page, really good match. Cage should definitely be up there and in and around the top of the rankings. And Adam Page, I don't think he's fallen off the top spot with this loss, but yeah, he should have to come down. He should come down to 2 and then maybe go back up to 1,
Two
and
or
then go back
three,
to
yeah.
He has to. There has to be that kind of struggle, and they need to be documenting it and telling us that that is happening rather than it just happening in the background. But a great way to open the show, regardless.
Yep, and yeah, Cage was an Impact. He's got that history too. Maybe we got some questions later on about Kenny Omega, so I guess we'll go over that. But
Yeah.
congrats to Brian Cage. He really showcased himself last night. That's all I really have to say for that solid opener match. And Team Taz is back, #1 spot now, as Taz states. So we saw a little bit of a promo after this match with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And I know both of us today were wearing the Kenny, and you've got the Young Bucks shirt on right now. So yeah, we are buying into the bias and the merchandise sales of the Elite. They're in a limo, okay? Young Bucks obviously wearing their weekly ridiculous fraternity outfits that they love to wear now, which is great. Don Callis is there. He introduces Kenny as the Impact Champion officially. So that was a nice little cameo right there. Kenny said that he's pissed because last week their trailer got destroyed by Moxley and Kingston, which they spent a lot of money for. But he says, you know what? I'm not afraid of you guys because wherever we go, the gold and the money follows. And then a horn goes off. Nakazawa accidentally does the horn because he's driving, and all of them get really scared. So they're just being typical heels here. But Kenny basically reiterated the point of the Elite. He says that if you mess with one of them, you mess with all of them. So they are official unit right now.
Yeah, nice little backstage segment. Kenny is treating it like we'll talk about that in a bit. Actually, I'll save that for later. But yeah, I'm liking the whole get up in terms of the ridiculousness of it. Kenny Omega not taking himself very seriously, despite him trying to present himself very seriously. The whole sunglasses, putting it down to his face, and then it just falls off his face. Yeah, they're doing some good stuff right now.
Yeah, this whole outfit of Kenny, this whole like suit thing, like Don Callis and Kenny explained it at the Road to Rebellion show that they want to change the world, and they're choosing professional wrestling as their platform, but they hate professional wrestling. They think they're above it. So I think you're kind of seeing that right now with Don Callis and Kenny Omega. Looks like they don't want to be here, but they have to be here. So
yeah.
This segment was kind of used as a segue to a tag team eliminator match between the Young Bucks and the Seidel brothers. And I was actually quite surprised that Don Callis officially escorted the Young Bucks to the ring. So I guess he's their manager now. So
he done that last week as well.
Yeah.
The week they wrestled in Dior's. He done that.
I thought maybe that was just a one-off thing, but I guess it's not. This guy is the manager of the Young Bucks. Yeah. Also, the Good Brothers were wearing AEW merch on BTE this week. So and they have literally appeared every single week. Like, I think it's, would you say it's safe to say they're in AEW basically?
Basically, yeah, they are. I know that's probably where they wanted to be in the first place, but they chose money and decided to stay at WWE. But yeah, I want to see more. If this Forbidden Door is open, let's do more. Like, we've got more Impact stars to bring over and have matches with. Let's do that.
It's sad that it was tried with Sammy Guevara, but it didn't really come to fruition. Yes. But I read online, and I really agree with this statement, with this whole Forbidden Door thing with New Japan and Impact. They're doing it in increments. Mm-hmm. It was Kenta introduced, kind of waited a little bit. The Good Brothers introduced, waiting a little bit. Kenny debuting on Impact, small increments leading up to bigger stuff. They're not just doing it all at once.
Yeah,
because I think that's the potential to really miss a lot. So they're doing it in small increments, and it was announced last night. We have another element which we'll get to, but I would definitely like to see some of those Impact guys come over too. But this matchup, it was really solid in my opinion. I didn't really think the Seidel brothers had any chance. I don't know about you. Yeah, so I put up a poll. I said no poll needed because they're not winning. But they looked good. And Matt Seidel really is a star, the star of the team, I think, of the two brothers. He put in some good offense, but the Young Bucks, man, they're cocky. They don't take it seriously, but they still hit great moves, really.
They had their little twin magic spot within this match as well, pretending to be one another and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing. They're just good. They're just good heels. I've seen so many tweets of people getting at them and stuff like that, and I'm thinking you're being worked. This is exactly what they want. Like they're very good at what they're doing right now.
I haven't seen. So we had the Omega heel turn, right? People weren't that mad. People are furious at this. They hate them.
The Omega one was dripped in, though. If you remember, it wasn't like a sudden bang. It was dripped in. The Young Bucks has been a complete. We're turning heel today, and we're turning to dicks tomorrow. Like it's just happened so quickly, and that's probably what people can't stomach.
Have you been reading some of their bios?
Yeah, they've been ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
And I would say that they didn't turn heel just to win championships. They did it to spite everyone.
Exactly.
But what did you think of this match?
Yeah,
overall,
I thought it was a pretty good match. The Seidel brothers, I'm not so invested in either of them, really, if I'm completely honest. But
hold on, I gotta open the door for someone. Why don't you?
No problem. Yeah. So I'm not really invested in the Seidel brothers, but at the end of the day, the Young Bucks are the heels in the situation. I'm sure when Mike is back, we'll talk about the whole SCU thing that happened afterwards. Just while he's gone, I'll take comment here. Steve, SCU, the wrestling channel. You guys have to make sure you're following Steve. Loads of good videos that he puts out on his channel. Steve says, I want to see Deonna Purrazzo go over in the Forbidden Door to AEW. Knockouts will really help the women's division on Dynamite. I 100% agree, Steve. Deonna Purrazzo has been somebody that since he left NXT and went to Impact, she has set the place alight. Like I didn't watch the whole Impact cards. I never had time to, but I watched the women's match and I watched the main event, the Kenny Swan match.
That was the really good women's match. Tennille Dashwood versus
Deonna Purrazzo is brilliant.
Yeah,
the woman is brilliant. Like honestly, the AEW women's division, as we've said in recent weeks, is coming to life now. So yes, she could still do a job there, but I don't think it's as necessary as it was a couple of months ago. But of course, I would still take Deonna Purrazzo going over there and setting it alight as well. But
and Deanna said that she wants to be the first woman in Impact to do it. So I think, as we talked about those incremental
exactly.
I think it'll be her. And sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I had someone at the door, which has never happened here at the Elite Maniac podcast before. But yeah, I agree with that comment for sure. And we left off with
So yeah, I talked about my thoughts on the Young Bucks match, but I was saying that obviously after the Young Bucks match, we had SCU come out.
Yeah.
Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, and they were saying, look, we're still doing our thing where the next time we lose a tag match, that we're going to split.
Yep. They reiterated their stipulation.
Yep. They then challenged, the Young Bucks and say, we will take the titles off you because you guys are basically acting like a bunch of pricks, basically. And what I didn't understand from here, it almost like the scene had been set, the gauntlet had been laid. This should be the next tag team match. But then, am I right in thinking next week we're getting a 4-way tag team eliminator match?
Eliminator,
number one contender.
Are they in? They're not in this one, are they?
They are in it.
What?
Exactly.
Wait, that's stupid.
And I think, if I'm correct, that they are number one contenders.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. They should be established that this match is already happening, and then the eliminator match should just be for the next shot.
Yeah.
Because the Bucks aren't defending, man.
Yeah, I really don't understand what the whole point of like this whole thing coming after the Bucks was good, but then for it to be kind of rubbed out with next week there's a number one contenders match when you guys are already the number one contenders, it was just a bit weird to me.
That doesn't hurt anybody except SCU, which they don't deserve that because they're getting watered down.
If SCU don't win that match now, they're not even gonna. They're gonna. That's it. They're done.
Well, we already know. We already know.
It's Young Bucks.
So we already know the winner next week.
SCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was dumb. That was really dumb.
This is what I mean. It didn't really make sense.
I mean, I
think it kind of watered down what was a good segment at the end of that match.
Very good segment, and I thought it was really cool because if you looked at everybody in the ring, it was the Seidels, the Young Bucks, and SCU. That was everybody in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Excalibur's promotion. So full 360. Some historical references. They're all brought back together in this promotion, and look at how the tables have turned. The Young Bucks are completely different than what they used to be. So cool. Some questionable booking, but that's what we do here. We question the questionable booking. And I don't know if there was any more questionable booking tonight, but we'll move on and we'll figure out if there was.
Definitely was, but we'll get to it.
Okay. Yeah. See, he always has it. I got the color commentary section I got all the notes here about what happened, and he's got the deeper analysis. This Jade Cargill promo, though, she's a free agent. What they were saying, she's not signed to any faction, but she's looking for a faction, but she doesn't want to be screwed over monetarily. So who would you pick Jade to go to, or would you not at all? Let's give you that option.
So I think I said this last week. I would put her in the factory. I'll put her in the factory.
Solo,
she is from the origins of AEW, like the rest of them. Like they're treating Go like the big star, and leaving Camarado and Solo as whatever. Jade Cargill could be the big female star over there.
They have a problem with that right now.
Yeah,
it's like they're factions, but there's no women in the factions.
Yeah. So I think she could be that should fit right in. Another little thing. This is a little thing. Obviously, last week, like you said, she came out, done the promo, or not come out, it was backstage, but the promo of that everyone wants to sign her. She's not signing because she's that bitch. This week it was everyone wants to sign her, but she doesn't want to get screwed over. But she wants a manager because she's that bitch.
She is that bitch.
But it's just like, do you want a manager or don't you? Or you want a manager on your terms? Like,
why don't you create your own then? If you why don't you bring in a manager?
I'll give this one more week before I lay into it. But let's see what happens next week, or maybe the week after Blood and Guts. We'll see what happens and if we can make any more sense of where this is potentially going. But
yeah, all right.
Keeping Jade Cargill on TV and keeping her looking strong. So
we'll give it 1 week and then we'll really get into it. So you guys got to tune in next week for that. My match of the night came on next. It was Penta Zero M, and most people don't know this, but he was Pentagon Jr. for a while. And then Lucha Underground's parent company sued AAA, which Pentagon is a contracted talent to, and made him change his name. And they're entrenched in a legal battle right now, and there haven't been many AAA shows. There's a ton of COVID in Mexico. They're not doing that well. They're kind of on the fritz right now, and that's why the Mega Championship on Kenny hasn't really come out that. So if people are confused with that's why it's not really being pushed as much. So hopefully they bounce back. But when Penta changed to Penta Zero M, he became, in my opinion, a little bit darker. Then he got this manager, Alex Abrahantes, and I've been just really enjoying this new Pentagon. I don't know about you.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. I don't necessarily think he's got any darker than he was, but I think he's just an established heel. Whereas before he might have just been a bit of a tweener. So
but that's what I was confused about. He's kind of like a heel from what especially with Alex, but Phoenix and Pac aren't.
Yeah, that's
right.
True. That is very true.
So they're kind of in the. I don't know. Maybe they are.
I just think maybe Penta's meant to be a more like a charismatic tweener rather than a straight out heel.
Yeah, for sure. Nonetheless, though, it's an interesting team, and Alex Abrahantes is a great element, so I really like him. And this match was so awesome. I don't know what about it, but sometimes I get tired of Orange Cassidy. Sometimes I eat him up, and I ate him up last night, dude. Like the pocket, the sunglasses, the Trent on in the back, dude. It was hilarious. And then once he started like going, it was a great match. Really, they went back and forth, and these two hit some awesome stuff on each other. It was so cool, though. I just really love this match, and Orange Cassidy's so good. He's one of the most unique elements of AEW. And if you look on YouTube, on the most viewed section of the AEW videos, it's mostly Orange Cassidy, Orange Cassidy, Orange Cassidy. But people love this guy. Towards the end of the match, he was able to get some offense in, got a stun dog millionaire. Alex Abrahantes came up, tried to distract, and then we saw Trent Beretta throw him the microphone, which is what Alex did to Penta last week to help him get the win over Trent. Orange Cassidy did the orange punch with the microphone and got the pinfall. Were you as hyped for this match during it as I was?
I was laughing. The first 2 minutes of this match was just full of zero miedos and then full of Orange Cassidy trying to put his hands in his pocket and not being allowed to. You know what? It's just two joke men. We have a word here in this country, in England, just a bit of slang. We say you're a joke man. Like,
a joke man.
Yeah, it was just comedy. It was comedy at its finest. These are two of AEW's probably most charismatic characters. Penta not speaking the language, still being as charismatic as he had. The glove thing kills me every time. You know this, when he's taking the glove off and then he just throws it over his head.
Yeah,
like,
man.
It kills me every single time. I think most people that would have watched this match and enjoyed it probably fell in love with Orange Cassidy last night. Like you were saying, you probably have a bit of a love-hate relationship. Some things you really like, some things you don't. I think last night was something to remind everyone that Orange Cassidy is that guy when it comes to sports entertainment, this sort of thing. You see what I mean? He did a lot of good work. I did question the fact that he won. I
predicted it. I predicted it on my story.
Oh, well done then. Well done to you.
So give me some props.
I did think that Penta's been doing a lot of good work recently, and it would be good to see him go on a little run. But Orange Cassidy winning puts a spanner in the works. Maybe it prolongs the story they're telling between Penta and best friends and stuff. So I wasn't completely mad at it, but I would have probably wanted Penta to win. But yeah, great. It was a great match.
To be honest, I was cheering for Penta a little bit, but I thought maybe because he went over Trent, they would, get the back and forth, and now the final win, who gets the advantage. But yeah, you're right, man. But I always have a bias with Orange Cassidy. He's from New Jersey, so whenever that happens, I always root for these people. But I'm interested to see what happens between these two teams. And once again, Alex Abrahantes is money, and he took a bump last night, and I just appreciate him and it's just unique in my opinion. It's just great that he's there. I don't know. Just love this segment. It was a feel-good match. It was fun. It was entertaining. It's exactly what we need on a Wednesday night after a long work day. Put some Orange Cassidy on. You'll feel better.
Yeah, no, it was a good match. It really was.
So we have our girl Britt Baker and Tony Schiavone doing their famous promo. And Britt has told everybody that she was going to get to the top of the women's rankings, and she did just that. She said she's at the top of merch sales, at the top of demo ratings, which she replaced Jericho as the demo god. Really, when you think about it, she's been having crazy demo ratings, and she's now number one on the win-loss rankings. She implicitly calls out Hikaru Shida and says that Britt is the face of the women's division, not Shida.
Did you, by any chance, do you have anything of her promo written down?
She said at the end, she said, "Bye, Shida" or something. I don't remember.
So Shida later, like
Shida later. Yeah, okay.
Later. But earlier on in the promo, like I was telling you a couple of weeks ago, how she's been mocking the ranking system.
Okay.
Like she's been subtly mocking the ranking system. I've forgotten the actual, verbiage she used, But if you go back and watch Britt Baker's that promo from last night, in the early bit of it, if everything she's saying, she's actually mocking the ranking system and how it doesn't really work, but she's kind of made it work in her favor.
Okay, how?
It's like she's just being super sarcastic about it. Like, I can't remember. I don't want to mess up what she said because she said it brilliantly.
She got her wins in, maybe.
Yeah, how she got her wins in, like on Dark and Elevation and stuff like that, rather than it being on Dynamite. Yeah, you have to go and see it. I don't want to mess it up, but she was. If you listen to the tone of how she's saying it, she is fully mocking the fact that the ranking system doesn't really work. And just on the ranking system, have you seen Adrian Black?
Yeah, why don't you talk? Post? I really like that.
It was a brilliant idea. We were speaking about it at the end of our show on Tuesday, and we were saying obviously the likes of Britt Baker now, Ty Conti a couple of weeks before, they have built themselves to first number one contenders off the back of just winning dark matches, elevation matches, which are obviously not as credible as beating someone on Dynamite because of the competition. So he said, why doesn't the system be when you get a win on Dynamite, you get 3 points, and when you get a win on Dark or Dark Elevation, you get 1 point. So your wins on Dark Elevation and Dark still work, still go towards the rankings, but they can't be valued at the same as the Dynamite wins, which makes total sense. You will never hear me complain about rankings ever again if something like that. I think that's a brilliant idea, honestly. And that's how I
agree. Adrian, that's a great idea.
100%.
I think we should implement that. And that's exactly what New Japan does with the G1 Climax. Exactly. There's different point values for wins, draws, losses. That would make a lot of sense. And I think that it would place more weight on the Dynamite matches.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because Dynamite is TV. So, and the chances are you're fighting somebody that is actually signed to the company rather than, the wrestlers that come in and they're not quite signed yet, and some of them are just enhancement talents and some of them are still in training. So yeah, I think that's really the direction they should take with the rankings. It might be a mess to kind of implement right now in the middle of the year, but they reset their rankings at beginning of January every year, so could be something for next year,
or just do it.
I mean, they could just implement it now
because it's already. They just kind of do whatever they want with that.
Yeah, that's true. But Britt Baker still mocking the rankings. I respect that.
I do too. How about this parlay with the Inner Circle, man? I know
world class.
This is just so much to get into. Yeah, it was world class, dude. The two teams got in the ring. And they went back and forth, and they said their warnings. They said what they were going to do to each other. They issued threats.
I just say, Sammy Guevara said everything we said about Sean Spears.
He shit on him. Dude.
Yeah. Sammy Guevara must have been in listening live to Elite Maniac podcast.
Thank you, Sammy.
Everything we said, Sammy repeated. He said, "What have you been doing since you come here? What have you been doing since you came to Dynamite? This is your last chance. You weren't a star here before. You weren't a star where you used to work." He ripped him. He ripped him to shreds.
He ripped him to shreds.
Yeah, it was very well deserved, because even when I saw Sean Spears taking the lead and speaking first in this segment, I thought, okay, cool. We're hearing from my guy. I like Sean Spears.
Yeah.
But I thought your chest is a bit too high, because you haven't done anything. You see what I mean? You're a bit too arrogant right now. You need to come down a couple pegs, because you haven't been portrayed as good as you're talking, as if you're that good.
Maybe he should have just shut up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Sammy killed him. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And with that, we kind of got a preview of the formation of what the Blood and Guts match is going to look like. So we had Sean and Sammy kind of calling each other out. They're going to be at each other's throat next Wednesday. We had the tag teams, FTR and Proud and Powerful, kind of calling each other out. They're going to be at each other's throats on Wednesday. We had Hager and Wardlow the silent giants, not really saying anything, but looking at each other, and really you could tell everything about what they're going to do to each other just from their eyes and the way that they were doing that stare off. Then we had Max and Chris Jericho really going at each other's throats. They're going to be going at each other Wednesday at Blood and Guts. But the most important part of this whole parlay was that Sammy got so mad at what Sean Spears said to him that he said, I don't even care about this parlay per se, that what we're doing. I'll go in first and you guys can have the advantage. So the Pinnacle has the advantage next Wednesday, meaning that Sammy's going to start off with somebody else in the ring for 5 minutes, and then a Pinnacle person will come out and alternate. So they're going to get the first alternative in, which means it'll be a handicap match for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. I think to be honest, that was better than what Tony Schiavone was about to do. That flip a coin and
that's stupid.
I said, what the hell is this? We're not in the playground at school. That you should either have a match to determine who gets the advantage. You could have done Sean Spears versus Sammy Guevara, and whoever wins, their team gets the advantage. Or someone, just calls out that, I don't fear you guys. Stick me in there first. You guys can have the advantage. I don't care. So I was happy to see that was the outcome, rather than Tony Schiavone flick a coin and say, heads. That means Pinnacle, you start.
I would have booked the Cash Wheeler versus Jericho match as the advantage match.
Yeah, maybe they should have done that in hindsight. Yeah,
because that was just a match with Tyson for some hype. I know they did great numbers with that. We're still waiting on the numbers for today, but
that's very true. That match probably should have been. Now that you said that, obviously Tyson was obviously the draw there as well. That probably should have been the match that meant something a bit more. So you're correct there.
Definitely. But another theme that we got through this whole thing, what everybody's been talking about, was the Jericho, Maxwell Jacob Friedman segment at the end. These two absolutely went at it with each other, and then specifically Jericho. I love this line. He said that the Inner Circle is Blood and Guts, which is true. They were the original, basically creators of this. They were going to go against the Elite. Yeah. He called Max a prick. Trust fund baby, says he never learned respect, and Jericho said that he has respected everyone and built his way to the top. That's why he's there, and Max isn't just going to waltz on in and take that top spot. So I know you really liked that promo. A lot of people did. Everyone was talking about it online. But going into Blood and Guts, who do you think has the clear advantage? Not talking about who's starting first, but who do you think has the advantage coming into this match?
As in, who's going to win?
Who's going to? Maybe not your prediction, but who do you see dominating so far? I know we have some developments that we could see in the week, but
I think it's been positioned that Inner Circle look the better going in. Chris Jericho has seemed to win the war of words on 2 occasions now between them, Inner Circle and Pinnacle. Obviously, they've had Mike Tyson on their side as well, so Mike Tyson made a fool of the Pinnacle guys as well.
They've been around longer too.
Inner Circle have been around longer than Pinnacle as well. So they're being positioned like this should be a no-brainer. It'll be a hard-fought match, but they should win. But the Pinnacle are gonna win this. They need to win this. They're the new team. They're the one that need establishing and stuff like that. So it's got to be the Pinnacle. But I think regardless, we are in for a fantastic match next Wednesday.
I'm very excited about this. And then again, that's Wednesday live on Dynamite. 2 rings, 2 steel cages, alternating people. It's going to be great. And I'm predicting hopefully.
The pictures look like cells. In WWE, what they've done in the past is 2 cages.
And is there a chamber cells?
With an open top. But
open top.
Not elimination chamber cells, but just regular cells with open top.
Hell in a cell.
No, like a cage match. So in WWE, it's like a cage match times 2. That's what it looks like.
Okay, War Games.
But Blood and Guts, the imagery they've been putting out looks like 2 Hell in a Cells. So it's got like tops on it.
That's so maybe we'll get some comment.
Who knows?
Sammy's going to jump off that thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. In the chat, Rashad Lee, thanks for joining us. He says, wasn't it supposed to be the only match? Yeah, like we said, they advertised it initially last week as a one-match card, but it looks like there's going to be about 3 or 4 matches on the card, or 3 or 4 matches before Blood and Guts. So Blood and Guts will probably be the entire last hour of
I hope
Dynamite.
so. I hope they give
And
it enough
then,
time.
yeah, the other 4 matches will probably be in the first hour of the show. But yeah, looking forward to it.
We talked about questionable booking, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about this Eddie Kingston versus Nakazawa? Little I know that I thought this is what you were talking about. I'm not sure, but let's see. What did you think about this whole thing? I mean,
so the whole fact that he was going to face Nakazawa, you knew that was never going to be a squash match or never going to happen anyway. Cool, fine. I don't care about that, to be honest. Then they come out and, Kenny eventually gets in the ring because Moxley has thrown out Brandon Cutler, the young boy. He's got to Kenny, thrown him in the ring. They've got Kenny, his leg in a chair, and they're about to break his leg or his ankle. Don Callis says, no, you can have anything you want, just don't do it, blah, blah, blah. What do they ask for? A tag match. Moxley and Kingston asked for a tag match facing Omega and Nakazawa.
Why Nakazawa?
Now, it's not even Nakazawa. Like, if you have the champion like this in the palm of your hand, are you asking for a tag match or are you asking for a championship match?
I kind of knew this was going to happen because they released a T-shirt this week of Kingston and Moxley as a duo.
Okay.
But if they're going to have a tag match, why is it against Nakazawa? Like, I'm not crapping on Nakazawa because if you go look at his past, he's actually not bad, but they booked him as a joke.
Yeah.
Why not Kenny and one of the Good Brothers or... So,
bro,
I don't know.
That's not the point. The point is you've got the AEW Mega Impact Champion in the palm of your hand. His manager is saying he'll do anything for you not to break his ankle. Maybe not Moxley because he's had a series of matches with Omega. But why doesn't Kingston ask Kenny Omega for a world championship match?
Maybe Kingston doesn't think he could do it.
Now. Well, kayfabe, that's what I'm asking for. If you put me in that position, I'm not asking for a tag match. I'm asking for a world championship shot. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you will too, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the world would. So why these guys are asking for a tag match
or against the Bucks for the belts?
Okay,
I get what you mean.
Like, this is what I mean. Like, I just feel like I was waiting to hear Kingston say, "I want a match with Omega for the world championship." But it was like, no, Moxley and Kingston versus Nakazawa and Omega in a tag match.
Yeah, man.
Nah, that's not the one.
It's not the one. I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess you're right. We'll just move on.
yeah. Let's go. Let's leave it there.
We had Chris Statlander, the alien, Galaxy's greatest alien, take on Penelope Ford. This feud kind of started at the Arcade Anarchy match between the two when Statlander attacked Penelope Ford. Orange Cassidy, kayfabe boyfriend of Chris Statlander, accompanied her to the ring, and Kip.
I was wondering why she came out to Cassidy's music.
I think they're dating. Air quotations, because she's actually dating Caleb with the K, who's in Impact. This match was pretty solid. Chris Statlander has definitely improved, in my opinion. And I highlighted this in my notes, but you see that running knee strike that she hit?
In the corner.
That was brutal. It was sold very well. She had some awesome offense. She obviously is much bigger than Penelope Ford, but I still think Penelope put up a good match. And she got some offense in. At the end of the match, though, Statlander hit a solar eclipse, which is one of her new moves for 2, and then got in a Big Bang Theory, which is kind of this package pile driver, which looks really good. And gets very close to dropping someone on their head. But Chris is really strong, so she could do that. So she did get the victory. She pinned her with the pile driver, and I mean the match was solid in my opinion. Why don't you give your take on the match, and then we'll get into the really important part with Kip Sabian and Miro.
So I totally agree with everything you said, to be honest. I think Kristen Lattender I'm very happy to see her back fighting fit. You know, when she returned a couple of weeks ago, I actually popped because she was becoming one of my favorites before she got her injury. So she's a lot of, she brings a good physical side to the ring. She brings a lot of character as well. So yeah, AEW have achieved something in getting her fit, getting her back, and yeah, adding her to the division is, like we say, the women's division's on the up. So her coming back has just been an excellent addition.
Who's Diamond Mine?
So you know what? I didn't even see this air on NXT. I watched NXT, but I didn't even see this. But a lot of people are saying it's Tessa Blanchard or some type of faction that she's involved in. In all honesty, I need to seek out whatever the vignette looked like because I haven't seen it.
It's just like a poster with a diamond on it.
Yeah, I've seen the artwork, but I think someone said a vignette ran during NXT.
I didn't know that.
And someone said that Triple H has retweeted it or something like that. I don't know. So I need to go back and have a look because I watched NXT and I didn't see anything. So
reason I just brought that up is you obviously just mentioned women's division being on the up and up. We've mentioned this for weeks, but there was some speculation this week that Tessa Blanchard signed a contract to NXT. Yeah. I know a lot of people thought it on Tuesday when it happened. Then on Wednesday, I saw like different posts saying like maybe it could be this, kind of up in the air. So I think people were sure of it on Tuesday, not so sure of it now. But
in the last month, Tessa Blanchard has been pictured training a lot with a lot of WWE guys and girls. So
I think she's probably leaning
in the performance center, just maybe in and around Florida. So yeah, maybe, who knows? But
who knows? Yeah. I don't think that AEW needs her as much as they did a few months ago. Correct. However, I think she'd still be a good addition. Having said that, this Statlander and Ford match did end. Chris Statlander picked up the victory. As you said, she's back. Great talent, looks more in shape, and has a better moveset. Mm-hmm. But Penelope Ford, obviously, she is married to Kip Sabian, and they had a little bit of an issue afterwards when Miro finally confronted Kip Sabian. Kip confronts Miro, and Miro just kicks his ass. Nice. He beats him down, throws him into a garage, chokes him with a chain, then slams his arm in a door and breaks it. Then immediately hugs Kip, says he's paid his dues, his debts to Miro. Then he says he forgives him. And Kip is like, did you hear how he was talking? He was like, Miro, no. It was sad. I felt bad, dude. I felt really bad for Kip Sabian here. No?
I didn't at all. This is the Miro I've been waiting to see since this time last year. Like, now we're finally getting this guy, and I'm still not getting my hopes up. They're talking about him going after championships. I think, this is part of building up Derby, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I really think that, he is now coming to the point of where he should have been all along. But like I said, I'm not going to get too excited about it.
I think it's definite.
Let them pull the trigger. Yeah, it looks definite. But
he's taking that TNT belt. I think I'm sure of it.
Yeah. I hope so. And then I'll get excited. But right now, I'm not getting excited. We've got a comment from Black Nito. Thanks for joining us, bro. He said AEW's women's division has been excellent and is only second to the Knockouts division. Both companies have great talent. The Miro segment was great. The AEW women's division, like we were saying, it's come a long, long way. And it's now being booked to a credible thing. If I still have to shoot it down for one thing, it's for not putting their champion in any kind of major feuds. Sheeta's having great matches, but no feuds, no stories around them. But yeah, like we were just saying, the Miro segment was great, and looking forward to what is in store for him in the future.
Absolutely. moving along the card, second to last semi-main event, we had the Nightmare Family versus the Factory, QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, Nick Camarada versus Dustin, Billy Gunn, and Lee Johnson. Sorry.
Yeah.
And this match was okay. It was a 6-man tag team match. But what I will say about this, to keep it short, is that I thought this was a great showcase of the new talent. The real stars of the match weren't QT, weren't Billy, weren't Dustin. The real stars of the match were Lee and Aaron Solo, in my opinion. And that's cool because they really came from just being dark talents enhancement to they're on Dynamite, they're in the semi-main event, and they're killing it. And I really did enjoy I really enjoyed seeing them. The Factory, QT Marshall, did get the cheap win when he ran in and pinned Lee Johnson. But they really showcased them, and I liked it.
Yeah, QT doing QT things and getting the win doesn't surprise me. For me, if I need to, well, let me be PG. This thing of Ogogo carrying the UK flag. That is such a WWE thing, and I'm actually shocked AEW are doing that. Okay,
yeah, it's like hate the foreigner, right?
Like, he's British, yeah, all right. Does he need to carry a flag with him? Like, I don't understand. It's not cool at all. That's one thing. Second thing is the gut punch. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about this. We've seen it a couple times now. He basically used it to wipe out everyone in this match to make easy pickings for QT.
Yeah, that's how QT won.
I think I'm gonna get bored of the gut punch.
I think it should be in the face.
Yeah, maybe in the face. But I guess that makes it like a bit of a Superman punch or a knockout punch, which is very common. I understand why it's the gut rather than the face because of those reasons, but I don't know, man. Is a gut punch knocking someone out? I like knocking someone out for 3. You see what I mean? Because surely if you get punched in the gut, you're still going to be wriggling around holding your stomach. Your shoulders aren't going to be on the mat. You see what I mean?
No, it's not a knockout thing. It's for a 10 count.
Yeah. So if that's the case, if that's how matches are going to end, that the person just can't continue, then fair enough. But I don't know. How do you feel about the gut punch? Because I'm not loving it.
I'm not loving it, and I'd rather, as we just said, I'd rather see it as a 10 count because I don't think anybody does that, and I think it's an interesting thing to have the guy go down for a count of 10 instead of a pinfall. It's not a pinfall move. People don't get pinned with the gut punches. In real boxing and MMA, a gut punch is a match stopper or it's a 10 count. So that's what I got to say with that. I agree with that.
I think I agree, and I think a 10 count would even put him over better. That the person stayed down for 10, not just 3 on the pin. It's 10, but yeah, right now I'm not really loving it, and that flag needs to go. It needs to go, man.
It's like cheap heat. What we knocked WWE for doing, especially back in the day. Sergeant Slaughter, all that. Ivan Kostla, the Russian.
So WWE, I would have thought that AEW are too cool to send him out there with a flag, but. Yeah,
obviously not. We saw some fighting with Cody and QT on the Nightmare Family truck to cap off the night. The feud continues.
So they get on top of this truck, and immediately I'm thinking QT has to go off the top of the truck.
I thought he was going to get thrown off.
Or Cody. Yes, someone has to go off the top of the truck because they're on top of a truck, and this is wrestling. So it just means someone has to go off.
The rules of the game.
Yeah. But what do we see? Cody locks in a figure 4 leg lock.
That was lame.
You get on top of a truck to lock in a figure 4 leg lock.
Why are you going on top of a truck?
Exactly. Exactly. Like we had all the audience down below, and I thought this is a bit of a distance to throw someone off there and expect the audience to catch them and break the fall and stuff. But maybe they'll do it.
No, he could have went back.
They were there for.
He could have went backwards,
and there could have been mats there.
Yeah, because it wasn't live.
Yeah, exactly. Could have went backwards, and there could have been mats there. But you climbed all the way on top of a parked bus to do a figure 4 leg lock, and I just thought, oh, come on, give it a rest. Rashad Lee says here in the chat he should have done the figure 4 with QT over the edge. That could have been interesting.
Hanging, that would have been funny.
Hanging, yeah. Or even a little spot where QT slips and he's holding on to the bus, and it's like a bit of a Lion King spot, like let me up sort of thing, like I'm your old friend. They didn't even like a figure four on top of the bus is, yeah, man.
I still think it's funny QT stole the bus though.
Yeah.
He's using my bus now. Yeah. Let's get to the main event, and then we'll get to some of your questions. I know we're having so much fun. We're just talking through the clock here. We had Darby Allin taking on Preston Vance for the TNT Championship in the main event. This was a good match.
Very good.
I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I mean, there's maybe one botch or two, but Preston looked very good in this match. Darby, again, this is his 9th title defense, and par for the course. He got beat up the whole time and then slipped at the end and got the roll-up victory on Preston. Preston had the match won. He hit a series of spine busters, chop blocks, really great offensive moves, and Darby got the roll-up victory, which is what he's done pretty much every time. So Darby Allin retained. It was a solid match. I thought maybe Preston would have a better chance. I guess I was wrong, but it looks like he's given a chance to every Dark Order member. So Darby Allin retains. Good, solid match. Definitely go check that out. But I guess this was really to set up the ending where Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, our favorite tag team ever, attacked Darby Allin and Sting. And then Lance Archer came.
We have to talk about this because this stinks.
No, this is stupid. It looks like they have no idea what they're doing with Lance anymore. And they've kind of just forgotten about him. And yeah, these two are really annoying.
Like, honestly, one thing I'll give them before I actually talk about the match is that they seem to be setting up something between Ethan Page and Darby Allin. They've got history. I remember seeing some back and forth between them in Evolve. They've got a great history. So whatever we maybe see from Darby Allin and Ethan Page, fair enough. But I do not care about Ethan Page. I do not care about Scorpio Sky. I'm losing severe interest in Lance Archer and how he's been booked since Revolution. As for the actual match, I know you've been a fan of and even become, quite friendly and familiar with 10 Preston Vance over the months and stuff like that. And I guess that's through watching him on Dark and stuff like that, seeing a bit more of him. I have seen some of him, obviously the stuff he's done on Dynamite, BTE, and I really started liking Preston Vance, number 10. This match made me a full-on bona fide fan. Like,
me too.
I want this guy to be the guy. And like he said, he was handpicked by Brody and all of that. I am in the corner of Preston Vance whenever he turns up on my TV from now on. But
they sold him like great with these promos. Exactly like you were saying. He's the handpicked man of Brody Lee. He's the man of the Dark Order, like the most talented.
By the end of the match, I was gutted that he lost. I was literally sunken in my chair, down in the dumps, like wishing he had won that. And
would have been awesome.
Yeah, I the thing is, it is too early for him to win, but I think that's how they had built him for this occasion, that he was going to overcome, sort of thing. Darby Allin, I've done a post today where he's now defended his title 9 times. I believe they said on TV that's more times than Cody did. Now he's obviously caught up with those because before Revolution he wasn't defending this belt at all.
No.
But since then he's been back to back, which kudos to him. However, the way he's winning these matches is not champion behavior. And to the point now where I'm laughing, it's like, how is he going to escape the person today? Like, it's like wriggling out of moves, wriggling out of finishers, countering submissions into pins like he did to last night. This is how he's winning matches. There's no convincing, I'm putting this guy, apart from Matt Hardy. He put Matt Hardy down. He went up top. He done the coffin drop and pinned him. That is how a champion should be winning. He's not being presented necessarily as a champion. He's just like surviving. It's like Darby Allin doesn't die until I guess he meets who we both think will be Miro.
Yeah, I think he's just going to meet someone
When
that he can't do
Miro
that.
is going to murder him. Like, that is what it has to be. When he loses, he has to be murdered. Very similar to how Brody Lee beat Cody.
That's what happens with these open challenges, and that's exactly what they were talking about last night. It's going to come to that point, I think.
He has to be murdered. The day he loses, he has to be absolutely annihilated.
How mad will you be if that happens with Miro, though, and he gets out of Miro's stuff and then roll up?
I'll laugh. Like, honestly, like I said, I was sold on Preston Vance winning, but at the same time, I laughed. I said, because this guy is he's like a little rat. Like, you can't catch it. Like a rat that sees the trap and they just run around the rat trap, the mouse trap. He's literally like a rat. He can't catch him. You can't stop him. So yeah, if they start doing that to the bigger guys, then yeah, that's not going to look good.
That's going to be a serious problem for sure. And exactly like you were saying, I'm a Fat Mark Weekly. He asks in our questions that he's seriously getting tired of Darby. It's like he's overpowered, to be honest. 10 should have won. He was overpowered the whole time.
The whole match. And this isn't the first time, like we said. This isn't the first time. It happens. And that kind of leans into here. Black Nito has given us a comment here in the chat. He said, is Darby's whole gimmick that he's unbreakable or lack of better explanation? I do think so, bro. I think it's the gimmick is Darby can't die. Like, nothing.
He's got like 9 lives.
Yeah, we've seen him in that cinematic match he had with Sting and Team Taz. He done that massive coffin drop off the top of like the whole warehouse and went through something. If you remember, Darby can't die until someone kills him. I think that's the gimmick. It's got to be.
That's the gimmick. Absolutely. And to go along with that, Savannah Garcia asks, who's taking the TNT title from Darby? I'm going to go with my gut here and say Miro. I was really high on Lance Archer, but since he came out to do the run-in, I don't think they have direction for him right now, so I'm going to go with Miro. What about you?
Past. I'll go with Miro also. The only other person that I think it could possibly be at this stage is either a Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page.
Yeah, all ego.
But if one of them win it, they're going to just turn on each other and they're going to feud for it. Because only one person can hold the belt. It's not a tag team belt. So, I think that'll be the subsequent story. But right now, it looks like Miro is being positioned as the monster.
I like it. I love it.
I love it, dude. Darby's head. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And I hope that's the case.
Yep. How about Wrestle in Peace, R-Pit? He asks, Hangman is portrayed as a weak character as of now. So what do you think when he will challenge Kenny? But I think they're going to, as we were saying, take him down a couple notches until that opportunity comes. Then it's going to be the shock babyface win.
Yeah, I don't think he's being portrayed weak. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I'll just say that, he can't win them all.
Like, he got taken advantage of last night, too. It wasn't because he was a weaker person.
He got beaten up before the bell. He was facing Brian Cage, who's not a small person. So, yeah, I think he's been booked very well. I think, the fact he lost was absolutely fine, but they just need to maybe lean into the story more. Like, okay, he's not number one contender anymore. He's number 2. Will he make it back to the top? So we can start kind of documenting the struggle. But yeah, I think it's fine that he loses every now and again. If he's losing to the right people in the right way, then fine.
Absolutely. Who do you think will end Kenny's streak as the belt collector? Says boy named Brad. Kota Ibushi or Hangman Page? I'll go with Hangman. I don't really think Ibushi's going to do it. I guess we forgot, though, IWGP United States Championship match, May 12th, Yuji Nagata versus Jon Moxley, another element of the Forbidden Door that All Elite Wrestling has introduced. So, I think we're both thinking it's Hangman eventually.
Well, yeah, Hangman to take the AEW Championship. Obviously, he'll have to lose the Impact and the Mega Championship.
He's going to have to get all the belts off. He's coming back with the DDT belt, too. I really think that's the next thing. Konosuke Takeshita has said that he's going to DDT, getting the belt, and coming back to Dynamite. So the writing's on the wall for that.
Yeah.
I think that'll be his last one, probably.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
All I want them to do is to acknowledge these belts. Like we had the graphic on Dynamite last night. Oh, he recently won the Impact Championship. But is that all you're giving them? Like he recently won. Who did he beat? Why is that person not annoyed?
Where's the video package?
Where's the video package? Why is that person not appearing on Dynamite chasing their title back?
Yeah, man. How you gonna do that to Rich?
It's just a bit like, over the weekend, what did you do with your weekend, Kenny? I went over to Impact. I became world champion. Like, it's just like, are we gonna acknowledge this at all? Like, it's just a bit weird.
Especially because you had Mauro Ranallo, you had a ton of build up, and then you had great pay-per-view buys, and nobody talked about it.
It's weird, man. It is so weird. And I think confirmed in my head now. I think Black Nito said it on my show on Tuesday with Adrian that it's a TNT thing. TNT don't want, the cross promotion and all of that.
For sure, dude. They're
makes
strict.
Sense. But yeah, it's just, it doesn't make for good. I don't know. Maybe they need to fill the gap with doing something on BTE to show how he became champion or something. I don't know, but
they cannot do this with Nagata. Just have him come out. There are people, especially because they got 1.1 and 1.2 million. There are new people watching right now. Okay. Some people don't know what the IWGP United States champion is and why this guy's coming to Dynamite.
We've seen it already before.
Dude, you have to. Nagata is a legend, but not a lot of people know him.
Maybe AEW. I'm not shooting down AEW here, but TNT, they don't care.
Do you know a lot about Nagata?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, definitely.
Because you're a super fan, but
that is someone that, again, like we're saying, should be given the whole smoke and whistles, oh my God, he's here sort of thing. They're not going to do it. I'm already resigned to the fact that I'm internally happy we're seeing him, but they're not going to give him anything apart from the graphic that they've already shown of him facing Moxley. That's it.
That's ridiculous. If you want to know how to do it, watch New Japan's VTRs. Type that in on YouTube and see how to properly do a build-up for a match and the history behind everything, because they do a great job of it in like 3 minutes or less.
I agree. But yeah, Hangman for the AEW Championship, taking that off Kenny, I think is the inevitable, which we all expect.
Yep.
What questions have we got next?
I thought that was pretty much it. There's a question about UFC going public and how that benefits them. I mean, just look at what it did for WWE. It made them legitimate in the eyes of the business world, and then brought a ton of new funds, the ability for people to buy into it, but completely different creative control once you go public on the stock market. So I don't know if UFC is going to remain what it is, but expect some changes, I think. How about we end with this from Ali K, F9, match of the year 2021 so far, in your opinion?
Whoa, match of the year. God, I don't know if we've I've got a few. If we're talking about AEW, I did really like the exploding Death Wire.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Until it didn't explode, but I did enjoy that. What else? I love the Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think that was a fantastic match.
I liked the Young Bucks versus Death Triangle too.
Was that last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That was.
I really liked that match.
Yeah.
In other promotions, that's a whole other story. But sticking to AEW, I'm gonna go with Baker and the Young Bucks Death Triangle.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's fair to say. Last but not least, before we get out of here, Back Nito says we got no real fanfare with Kenta. Chances are they won't put respect to Nagata's name either, and that's the unfortunate truth.
That's just gonna get New Japan fans annoyed too.
Yeah,
I wish they would.
They're not respected in England, in the US. That's what exactly they're gonna.
I'm hoping that they just assumed a lot of people knew who Kenta was, and they learned from that mistake. And I'm hoping that they don't do the same thing. I'm hoping that they learn from that and give Nagata what he deserves.
Yeah, you're 100% right, bro. But guys, that is the show. We have even went a bit over today, but we love talking AEW. It's what we do, and we do every Thursday. Of course, please remember to hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. notification bell, all that good stuff. And for our audio listeners, please make sure you subscribe and follow on your podcast platform of choice. Leave us a 5-star review if you are listening via Apple podcasts. Let the people know of the great job myself and Mike are doing here. Next week, Blood and Guts. You're going to want to tune in for that review 100%. Mike, any last words before we get out of here?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned to our Instagram because I am potentially putting something together that you guys are really going to like. And I'm not going to tell you guys until I post it. So look out. Thanks, everybody, for continuing to give us support. And we're hoping you like the podcast. Also, last thing I'll say, be on that lookout this weekend for a special edition of this podcast where I will be taking a swing at color commentary for AEW Dynamite. I'm going to go through every move that happened and give you an analysis in about 20 minutes, short show, and it'll be like listening to the radio for a sports event or commentary. So we're going to do that, and we're hoping that you guys like that.
It'll be like listening to Excalibur.
Yep.
So yeah, guys, bonus episode this week. So I hope you will tune in, and we'll be back same time, same place next week to talk blood and guts. We'll see you later, guys.